Hello, everyone. I am Peter Freer. I am founder and CEO of Play Attention, and I'm welcoming you to our mindfulness coffee break number one. What is mindfulness, really? And so you can take that in a couple of different ways. What is mindfulness really? Or what is mindfulness really? So we'll take it in both directions today. I do want to experience this webinar. I want us to experience the webinar together as friends, taking a journey and with a sense of inquiry along the way. Let's see what we can discover along the way about what mindfulness is, right? And I could wear robes and dress up as a guru if it and reinforce the stereotype for you, but there's no need for that because we can actually find out together what mindfulness is. And I've been in this field for 30 plus years, so I have a good sense of what I'm talking about. And here's some introspection we need to have a quick view of. Stop what you're doing, and what are you doing right now while watching this webinar? Were you checking your email? You're looking at Facebook. You're thinking about when you have to pick up the kids, what you're having for dinner tonight, what you did or didn't do, what's in your next meeting. That is definitely not mindfulness, right? Positively not mindfulness. But that is the way we live. We live in a very distracted world. And we have to understand a little bit more about that so that we can come to actually what mindfulness is other than just the definition of mindfulness. Here is the definition, but it goes far deeper than that, and we're going to explore it because we have a limited amount of time today for this webinar. We're about 15 or 20 minutes long. So we want to get to the heart of matters. But here's the definition. It's being in the present moment, living in the present moment, bringing our attention to the present moment with a sense of openness, curiosity, and non-judgment, like I initially asked when we started this journey. So it allows us to be fully aware of our thoughts, emotions, physical sensations, and surroundings. And you notice I highlighted a word here, right? I boldfaced this word called unattached. It means that we see all of this, but we don't do anything with it. That's opposed to, in contrast to what you're doing right now, if you're trying to look at Facebook or check your email or send a text, our mind is always going in two or three directions at one time. And that is what we call distraction, which is the antithesis of mindfulness. But we cultivate our minds to do that. And there is a reason why. And let's talk about that. When we remember, I told you we were going to the beach. So here's our first beach encounter today. Remember a time, especially when you were very young, that you saw this for the first time. Your first sunset at the beach. Or it could be your first sunset overlooking mountains or from a valley or just any viewpoint where you watched this star that is so close to us that provides light and heat. And you were in total awe. There was no chat, only quiet. That innocence is mindfulness. Now, if we try that as adults now that we are so distracted, and children are the same, it becomes very difficult. And there's a reason for this. The reason that it's difficult is because our minds, our brains, actually have evolved to be time travelers, and they have no roadmaps. We live one third in the past. This is our reality. This is everyone here. This is common to every human being on the planet. Everyone. It doesn't matter if you're from the United States, China, South America. It doesn't matter. This is all part of the human condition. One third is lived in the past, where I think about things I did and I liked, and it brings back a certain amount of happiness. I think about the things I didn't do or did do, and they bring about regret and sadness. And we live one third there. And these are stored as pictures in the brain, movies, pictures in the brain that essentially we replay over and over again. We live one third of our time there. You'll note it now that I've said this to you. You'll note it throughout your day. You'll become aware of it when you start living in the past. And then we live one third in the future. Now, the future hasn't happened. It's not real. Neither is the past. The past is stored as a series of pictures and movies and smells and tastes in our brain, but it is the past. It is dead. It is gone. But we treat it as if it is the now. And the future is the same. The future is not real. We project out and we think about things that are going to happen, and it makes us anxious. It frightens us. Is this going to happen? What if this happens? What if I don't do this? This will happen. We have no idea. And these are two thirds. These two periods are two thirds of our life. We live only one third in the present. But even in the present, as we just discussed, even in the present, we are incredibly distracted, right? Even in this current moment, it is incredibly difficult for us to dive in fully, immerse ourselves, put our attention into a webinar with this talking head on the screen. It's very difficult. And we have to know why and gain an understanding of why this is so difficult. Because if we live in the present and we are distracted, it is not mindfulness. So we have to come to an understanding to get to be able to understand what mindfulness is and be able to do it requires a certain depth of understanding. Because if you try to do it like a Campbell's soup recipe where it says, open the can, pour contents into pot, fill the can with water, pour water into pot, heat, stir, and you have soup. If you try it like that, and most of us have, I mean, how many people here, just hands up, have tried mindfulness in that recipe format, and you can do it for about 15 seconds and then there's total failure? Right? Hands up if that's you. That is most of us here. Absolutely. Yeah. Because it is far too, it's very important. We understand that, but it's difficult when we are distracted and our brains are conditioned for distraction. So those three factions, the past, the present, and the future, all compete for your space and your time. Those parts of the brain that are responsible for that compete with each other. Those fragments want to occupy your time for various reasons that we don't need to go to in this short webinar. But you can see, I think you and I can see in this journey together, you can clearly see that they do compete with each other. The past competes with the present, which competes with the future. They're all in competition, and we just help them out by becoming more distracted. When we are distracted, we tend to live really fragmented lives, and it's very complex for us and very unsatisfying. And in addition to that, it makes life incredibly difficult. Our relationships are here right now. And this is super, super important. So this is the significance of now. All of our relationships, whether it's our personal relationships, our work relationships, our relationships with our pets, our spouse, our students, our children, it's now. We have to be in the now to have those. And those are significant. Many of us are dissatisfied with our relationships, and there's a reason for it. We're not giving ourselves to the relationship, and it's difficult. It's a balance. Once we have an understanding of how important it is to be in the now, then we can begin to understand mindfulness a little bit more deeply and be able um, to practice mindfulness. So when we have full understanding of the significance of being mindful, then we have a proper intention. If we went into mindfulness as in a Campbell's soup recipe, All right. I read it online. Here's what I'm supposed to do. Step one, open the can. Step two, pour contents into pot. It doesn't work. It just won't work. I know everybody wants you to think that it works because they can sell that recipe to you, but there's no recipe and there's no guru necessary to do it. We just have to have a little introspection. We have to look at the way we lead our lives right now. And then all of a sudden, our attention can be addressed to the present. I guarantee you, I used to call it the cobra in the room. Let's say that in your room right now, door is shut and there is a cobra in your room. You are not going to be multitasking, right? That cobra is going to receive 100% of your attention, isn't it? Because we understand that's a problem, that's a dilemma, and living with that is dangerous. So when it becomes that apparent, the brain changes. We can be in the now. We don't multitask. Is this making sense? I hope you can follow. I really do. Because when we understand what is happening to our relationships, what is happening to our brains right now, then we have the proper intention. Because when I go into it and I think, well, I'll just do it as an exercise, well, it'll probably end up like most of the exercise equipment in your house, right? You've got your clothes draped over your exercise bike, right? Your weight set has dust on it. That's what happens when we listen to someone else and not understand ourselves first. So self-understanding is kind of critical. Then that opens the door to inquiry, right? We can start to learn about what mindfulness actually is and how important this is. And then we're open to discovery about mindfulness. It can actually do it easily without some, all the noise, all the distraction, all the rest of it. But we have to come to the foundation, build that foundation, understand that foundation. That's why we have the little pyramid of stone here, so that we can understand how important this is. Does everyone here realize that our adolescents today have among the highest recorded anxiety and depression in recorded history globally? That's not just now, it's globally. Does everybody understand that? Now, it's not too far to say that most adults are probably in that same boat because we experience, if we watch the news and we get our feeds on Facebook or Google or wherever we're getting news and we talk to our friends, then we're awfully anxious people. We're afraid, not living in the moment, living in fear of what's possibly going to happen. Students are facing cyberbullying, threats at schools, right? They also are fearing, they came out of a pandemic no one had experienced before. And of course, we did too as adults, but we have a coping mechanism, although it's not that good either. So again, when we have this understanding of who we are internally, and we understand the importance of mindfulness and how to get there, the importance of it, what it is, and how to get there. Now, some simple things that you can do when you are trying to work or be mindful. Simplify your surroundings, and this is really one of the easiest ones. So just mute your phone and place it on your desk face down. Don't do that now if you're viewing the webinar on your phone. It won't help. But when you're doing another task, you're trying to be mindful. Put the distractions aside. Shut off your computer monitor. So there's no temptation to go on and look at Facebook. Move your books and newspapers away from your reach. Don't need them right now. Turn the TV off. Now, when you're sitting with another person or standing with another person and they need your attention, make eye contact. Show them they are the most important thing in that time. Don't try to multitask while you're doing any of this, especially during a conversation. If you notice that when And I am incredibly frustrated when I'm talking to someone and they're doing something else. So I make certain of two things. I have people that do that to me all the time. I'm trying to focus on one thing and then someone's trying to get my attention. I will either break off what I'm doing completely, or if it's a jumble that I cannot leave, I will stay with it. I'll try to address them, but typically I'll say, let me get to you in just a few seconds. Let me finish this. Let me finish this up right now, and then I'll get to you. So they know that when I do turn my attention, my mindfulness to them, they get every bit of it. We will be on a coffee break on Thursday. It's 15 to 20 minutes long at most. And we'll talk about why mindfulness matters, especially for ADHD and strong executive function. That will be Thursday's meeting, right? Coffee break. I hope this made some sense to you. If we walk away with anything, remember I said we would be going to the beach, and we are at the beach again. When we walk away with anything, we know that mindfulness is being in the present, right? In summary, mindfulness is being in the present, living in the present moment, not listening to chatter, being aware of it, but not feeding it. Right? We know that we are incredibly distracted, and we have trained our brains through media and technology to become even more distracted. And we understand now that doing all of this is counterproductive in our evolution as a human being, our progress as a human being, our progress in relationships. It's an impediment. And when we come to that full understanding, we understand the limitations that places on us, then we can be mindful. We also, in summary, said that listening to a recipe, buying a book, I'm certain many people have made a lot of money trying to sell you a pathway to mindfulness. There is no pathway. It comes from self-understanding. You don't need a guru. Just need to have a little bit of introspection and listening. And then mindfulness, it becomes super easy. I hope this made sense to you. We'll get into it even deeper on Thursday, and then we have, I think, two more after that. And in the end, I will show you neurotechnology, being able to look at your brain, the cause of all of this, in real time and be mindful. Use of mindfulness as an app so that we can actually do it and have fun and learn a lot. It's been a joy, and hopefully that we learned something from all of this, and I really appreciate it. Take care.